joined me on a very rainy day at the flea market. But there's an inside flea market you can see there. And this place has been great to me because look at that stack. Lots of NES, some SNES, N64, got some PlayStation, which I'm happy about. PlayStation 2. Um, you know, we're I was between 3 and 4 for just about everything. I made some amazing deals, and the best one here, which was 8, right there. Okay, so this is the third week in June. So I think it's my third pickups of June, and you can see I did pretty well this time. A little bit of garage sailing. Went to another flea market near St. Louis that I like to go to, and I got a lot of good deals. So and there's even a gem in there you might have spotted. But a lot of good stuff to add to my collection. I think only 1 or 2 games I bought to just have as extra or to trade in. Most of them are going into the collection, so that's good. I went garage sailing on Friday before the weekend. I guess part of the weekend. I found a sale that had Xbox 360 just sitting in a bin. I actually didn't even see it, and I asked about games, and they're like, "Oh, we have the Xbox back there." I was like, "Oh, I missed that." No hard drive, but it was $20. It looks like it was GameStop refurbished as well. Um, it does work. I tested it out. It has all the cables. But I bought it because it had 3 controllers, and they're all pretty good condition. And it has like a Halo 3 controller there. I don't know if that's like a custom plate. Uh, I haven't had an Xbox 360 before. This is my first one, so I probably will keep it. Of course, I gotta get a hard drive for it, but and, it works just fine. So, and it had a big stack of games to go with it, so that was also nice. Prototype 2, disc only. Dead Space 3, disc only. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, disc only. Complete Gears of War 2. GameStop edition of Assassin's Creed 3. Call of Duty Black Ops. And Gears of War 3. And I think the Assassin's Creed 3 actually is only the multiplayer disc. Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately only multiplayer on that one. But for $20, it seemed like a good deal to me. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'll keep it. I probably will, just because I don't have one. I have one other one where I got pretty lucky. Another one where I asked about games, and he was like, "Oh, I think I have a Game Boy way down in the bottom of that bin," and he did indeed. So, Game Boy Color works just fine. Missing the back there, and inside of it was a copy of Donkey Kong, classic Donkey Kong. So, but it works. Missing the back, but pretty good condition otherwise. He also had a bag of PS1 memory cards, like third-party PS1 memory cards. So there were 6 of them, so I just bought them. I don't know why they say FIFA Soccer. I assume they're just standard size, but I have to mess with it to find out. But they were there, and I was like, well, why not? they're all in these packages, so. But yeah, I paid 6 for the Game Boy game and the memory cards, so not too bad. So the next pickup was from a flea market that I went to. It's really rainy, but fortunately this one was an indoor, mostly indoor flea market, so I was able to actually still go and get some good pickups. One I had been to before, I got a lot of good pickups, and I'm glad I went again because there are people who just have a handful of games, and then there's also video game dealers who, mostly have video games, but they're willing to make deals and they have low prices and stuff, so it was definitely worth it. So the first pickup that I made was got here. The first pickup that I made was Nintendo DS case for 5 here. That was a pretty good pickup. Nothing inside of it, but it was a nice case, so I picked it up. The guy had a stack of DS games, empty cases, so I had him throw that in for the 5. So some of the better deals here were basically just me kind of going to a vendor, picking out a lot of the stuff I want once I know that their prices are pretty good, and then trying to make a deal for everything, that bundling mentality. So the first one was this stack here. He had 7 on a lot of his N64, but 3 on a bunch of SNES games. Nothing crazy on the SNES, but I stacked them together, and I believe I paid 30 for this group. I'm trying to get the price down on the $7 ones. So what I picked up was Turok Rage Wars. These are all in pretty good condition. Shadowgate, or it's Shadow Man. Shadow Man. Shadowgate is another game for the N64, I believe. Buck Bumble. And this one was 3 originally. GT64. For SNES, I got a copy of Clue. Family Feud. And Desert Strike. So the next bundle was a vendor that they didn't really have a lot of prices, so I was asking him, what are you doing on PlayStation, these Nintendo games? He was kind of like, they're 5 apiece. I haven't really priced them up, so I was like, okay, 5 apiece, I can work with that. So I picked out a whole bunch of them, as you can see, and did a deal for 60. There's 18 games, so uh, it's a little over 3 apiece. But I definitely got some really good pickups here. I actually hadn't picked out the PlayStation games yet, but he said, "Oh, you can add 2 more onto it with all that for 60." And I was like, "Okay." That was a really good deal. So let me go through these real quick. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. That's actually just a label upgrade for me. I did have it already. Yoshi Safari. Cool Spot. And these are all in good condition for the most part. Maybe some back damage on some of them, but Rygar. Trojan. Target Renegade. My NES collection is really growing very fast. I'm finding quite a bit for some reason. Tecmo Star Force. Um, Yoshi. Yep.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Yoshi. There. POW, Prisoners of War. And Yoshi's Cookie. One of the better ones in there. Yeah, he did actually have 5 labeled on that. So those were the Nintendo games, and then the PlayStation games that I got were Metal Gear Solid VR missions. Crusaders of Might and Magic. Very cool pickup. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. SpongeBob Atlantis SquarePants. And these are all complete on the PlayStation 2. Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper 2. Sly 2. Sly Cooper 3. I actually didn't have any of those Sly Coopers, and now I think I got all 3. I believe there's only 3 on the PlayStation 2. And Final Fantasy 11 Wings of the Goddess expansion pack. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, I don't think you can play Final Fantasy 11 anymore. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, but you never see that around. And I was like, well, I don't know if it's uncommon, but I'll pick it up. I do have the disc for the regular Final Fantasy 11. So, of course, I want to get the expansion packs just to have them for the collection. But yeah, it was $60 for those 18 games. There's some really good titles in there. And, of course, the best pickup you probably saw there, Mega Man Legends 2. I was very surprised. This one was a bit tough because it was just some guy who had some older antique stuff, and then he had a stack of games. And when I was looking through, I saw this, and I kind of assumed, probably a bad assumption, that he just has a stack of 5 or 6 games and a controller. He probably doesn't care about these.
And so I was like, oh, what did you do for the stack? And he was like, he hit me back with like 40 or 50 or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. And so I pared down like twice. I was like, oh, what would you do just for the games? And he was like, like $30. And oh, how about just these two games? $18. And I was like, oof. And I think the other game was like an NES game that I wasn't willing to spend like $8, $9 on. So I just said, well, I just really want this game, and he was like, oh, I'll do 8. And I know it's worth that. Obviously, it's more than I normally pay, but um, definitely a great pickup to get. I love picking up some PS1 because my collection is pretty lacking. So I was happy that I got 2 from this deal, and then a real gem from there. So that was pretty awesome. So here's the last 2 pickups. These are both from pawn shops that I kind of hit on my way back. I go to the flea market, of course, super early, and then I try to hit a few things on my way back home, just to kind of get out there and look for deals. So I usually have some luck going back, going to pawn shops and other flea markets, and sometimes game stores or thrift stores. Anyway, I had 2 pawn shop pickups that were pretty good. It was $20 for per stack. The first stack here, some pretty good. They had some good prices, like 4 to 5, and I asked, for a discount, and they took some money off of it to make it down to 20. And this was what was this? 6 games. So the first was Rocket Ranger for the NES. I was actually kind of surprised they had quite a few NES games. Tasmanian Tiger, Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, Dragon Rage, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, and that I did just buy an extra copy. I already had it, but yeah, it's always a good one to pick up. Um, and Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Um, so that was a good pickup. I needed the manual, so I'll have an extra copy now without a manual. But I was happy to find that. Yeah, I also bought 6 here, just some PS2 games. Um, this is from another pawn shop that had quite a few games. Like sometimes pawn shops just have a huge game section, and I really like that because then if they have a bunch of games, they're usually willing to do like a flat price, and so you can get some good games and then bundle them up, and they'll do a little discount for you. So the first one is Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Terminator, Dawn of Fate, Frogger, Ancient Shadow, Namco Museum 50th Anniversary. I did have Namco Museum, the first one, but this one I believe has more games in it. 50th Anniversary version. Headhunter. The Headhunter is actually disc only. It is $1. So I went ahead and grabbed it. And World Destruction League Thunder Tanks. Also $1. That's complete. In the pawn shops, like any other more used store, that sometimes the discs are scratched and stuff, but I usually, unless it's really, really badly scratched, I'll pick it up, because I think that I can resurface it at some point. It was a really good outing. These kind of, I'm not really sure how to describe them, but they're open air, but also like bi-monthly, monthly or bi-monthly flea markets. I think they're still really good to go to. Maybe at some point I'll have picked up most of the stuff from them, but as long as I can keep making deals, it's fine if they're $5 or $7. I can get the price down and get pickups. So, and then sometimes you find a gem and get a good price on it. So, I'm really liking it.